I got notes on All Elite Wrestling. Let me start off with the positive. Bravo, bravo, bravo. They have figured it out. That is the atmosphere. That's the atmosphere to have. The fucking immaculate, well-lit, empty seats of the WWE broadcast with the deafening silence where not even the crew is not allowed to fucking cough or sniff was fucking death. And their big arena, even with the boys out there, you know, making a little bit of noise as they did a couple weeks ago, was not the answer, especially once that Matt Hardy started teleporting all around the fucking thing. But I like what they've done. It's a warehouse space. It looks like the modern independent wrestling facility that OVW pioneered, thanks to Danny Davis's insight and foresight 20-something years ago. And you put a few of the guys out there apart from each other to make some noise, and it worked. It worked as a wrestling atmosphere. What did you think?
I completely agree with you. That undisclosed location, which may or may not be in Georgia.
It better be parts unknown. They better start calling it parts unknown on the program next week. They don't have a hair on their fucking balls if they don't.
Well, they're supposed to not be doing this, but a couple people, I'm not going to say where it is, but a couple people figured out where it was based on the green tarp that was on the ground in various places. But I agree with you. And I think Billy Gunn and his son, I hate to say this is the perfect use of Billy Gunn and his son, but they are so good as like I don't know if they're the babyface cheerleaders or just, you know, cheering for the babyface on that side. Britt Baker cracked me up. I don't know why what's his name? Kip. I don't know why Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford can't be together. I mean, they're fucking. I don't know why they're spending 6 feet apart. But I got a real kick out of it. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was a great studio vibe, even with no fans there. I thought it was great. I really, really liked the look and the layout.
Yeah, now they just got to work on what they put in the middle of it. But no, that was great. They finally found, and if they continue to do that from parts unknown, that's probably going to be the best show for atmosphere, I would think. I don't know what Vince and his minions can come up with unless they just steal it outright to match that. But did you notice? Oh, go ahead.
Well, we'll see, though. I mean, considering the way everyone's cracking down on doing events, they may be on the run like a porn shoot in the San Fernando Valley in the 70s pretty soon, just trying to go from one place to another without anyone figuring out where they are.
Well, that'll probably make the goddamn show better because it'll be more wrestling-like. You know, we're not even supposed to be doing this shit. I mean, you know, I figured it was just, you know, Tony's Khan's in-home gym or something. He's a billionaire. He's got to have a giant in-home gym.
The son of a billionaire.
Well, whatever. Is Tony Schiavone's voice shot? Is he doing too much?
I thought he sounded all right.
He sounded a little weak on the stand-up at the start. I was worried about poor old Tony. He sounded a little creaky, but I don't know why that Cody's dog is on television. I'm not sure about that. Or for Pharaoh, either one. See what I did there? No. Anyway. Awful. I'm just terrible. Now that I've said the good stuff. Well, I can say something good about this too. The first match was Trent, no last name, with his hatchet-headed partner and the goof with his hands in his pockets against Kenny Olivier. They announced Trent at 201 pounds.
Oh, I
Look
missed
at him.
That. That's surprising.
Look at him. They could give him 225 and nobody would blink an eye. They make their guys look smaller and feel smaller and sound smaller. But anyway, with this match, to be honest with you, it's the first part of it was fine. It was good standard shit. I thought they probably won't go too crazy, and it'll force them to actually have a match that makes sense so that you follow the fucking thread of it all the way through. The first part of it they did. They didn't go crazy. Olivier just looks like a total twat with everything he does. With the funny faces and just the mincy body language or whatever, the Mil Mascaras with the corn cob up his ass fucking thing. But they didn't do anything silly and everything looked good as far as the work. To me, Trent looked better than Olivier. As far as not only somebody whose work is good and who looks like an athlete, but looks like he has a personality and looks like a grown adult man, doesn't make funny faces, I'd push his ass. They got lost for a while for some reason after Olivier finally had to do his big dive to the floor, but finally they got going again. But then toward the latter half, here's the thing. Or not even the latter half, but the latter part, because this was a long one. But Olivier spends all of his time beating up fucking Trent, which if Olivier's the babyface and he's beating up the heel, that was too long. It got fucking old. But at the same time, Trent and best friends are supposed to be baby faces, but, so there's really no clearly defined baby face and heel, which hurts their match. And I think Olivier at first was trying to have a Japanese match with no baby face and no fucking heel, and it just got blah and started plodding. But then Trent started working the bad hand, and it got better. It picked up. Of course, then fucking idiot Harpo throws a chop with his bad hand that he's just been selling. Then they fought around the building, and Olivier buckle bombed him into the post. Then Trent made a comeback because apparently at first they're trying to trade off. One guy's a heel and then the other guy's a heel. One guy makes a comeback and then the other guy makes a comeback. They went to the break and they went through it. They came back with 5 minutes left on the awkward 1-2 of forearms because we know Olivier can't throw a punch, and it looks stupid if the other guy's throwing a forearm and you're throwing a punch because your shit looks a lot better than his. But I don't know why this 1-2 forearm thing has to take place. It's supposed to be a goddamn Rocky movie. If you've got to that point where you're trading fucking shots, you're supposed to be fucking throwing right hands at each other and look like fucking Sylvester Stallone and Apollo Creed, not two guys doing these flippy little fucking forearms at each other. But then they just started trading moves, but didn't sell any of them. Trent would take a fucking move from Gimmick and then suddenly pop up and give him one. And they went through some reversals where guys were going in wrestling school class. I know this is a novel concept to Olivier since he's never been in one. But in wrestling school class, they call it going from zero to hero instantly. You're selling. You've just had a fucking big move done to you. You should be fucking like dish rags selling in pain or whatever. And suddenly you jump up and you pick a guy up over his head and twirl him around and all that shit, going from zero to hero. That's what they were doing, like every other Kenny Olivier match. They did get a spot in where they managed to fight on the apron for long enough to bury referee Aubrey, who couldn't do anything about it. So we said she never gets buried. Olivier buried her. Then Trent flipped Olivier off the top rope onto his fucking head. And then Olivier jumped up from what looked like it could have killed him if he'd have sold it properly and instantly threw 2 or 3 more big moves at fucking Trent and beat him in 19 fucking minutes. I'd have rather seen Olivier beat somebody, it didn't matter whether you beat him or not, in 10 minutes and see Trent beat somebody so he could actually fucking look like he can in the other 10 instead of this thing going back and forth and plodding along. The only time to me it got some life to it was when Trent actually said, fuck it, I'm going to be a heel and work on this guy's broken hand. And then by the end of it, they'd lost that thread of the whole thing. And it was guys doing shit to each other. What do you think?
I agree with a lot of what you said. Some positives first. They've changed the Kenny Omega entrance video. It's no longer him backpacking through Tokyo. Now it's actually clips of him doing big moves in matches and making faces. So I think that's a positive. I agree with you about Trent. The more I see of him, the more I like him. I wish he had a last name. Just something.
Yeah.
Can't be Beretta. There's plenty of other names you could pick from.
It doesn't pass the name test. And Vince used to he didn't get mad at me, but he'd go, oh, here we go again. I'd say, come on. Does this pass the name test? For the WWF Championship, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker. For the NWA World Championship, Nature Boy Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. For the World Heavyweight Championship, John Cena versus Trent. Fuck.
They got to get him a last name. I liked it. You know, it's an Omega match. And a lot of the faults that I would typically have with it are the ones you pointed out where, I mean, it went too long, I think, but I think that may have been because they didn't exactly have a full crew of guys there. They were trying to fill up 2 hours of TV with a short crew.
Yeah, I understand that. And, just they're all that long. Even when they had a fucking full house of people and fucking 50 guys in the back, he goes that long.
But I agree with you. You know, one of my big issues with just modern wrestling is guys just trading spots and nothing registers. I mean, the big one is the one you pointed out where he threw Kenny off the rope, and the way Kenny landed, it looked like he would have gotten hurt. It looked like he would have gotten even rug burn on his face from just like but then he just popped back up. And I thought that was stupid. I didn't like the best friends at Orange Cassidy clearly seeing Omega coming for them with the dive because it was right in front of the camera and just waiting there. You know, it took like 3 seconds for Omega to run to the ropes and run and do his big theatrical dive. And they just watched him do the whole time while hugging each other and waiting for it.
That's what happens every time somebody runs all the way to the other side of the ring first and then does a dive, which is stupid. And they started doing that because they saw idiots like this fucking clown doing it. And everybody makes over him. If you're going to dive out of the ring and blister somebody, it should be because you have kicked their ass in the ring and they fucking take a bump out or bail out or whatever, and you're so anxious to get them, you run and you dive out and you tackle them. If you run across the fucking ring, they got to stand there and fucking wait on you. It's stupid. But everybody has to dive rather than just doing it if it would naturally come up in a match.